rolling, keep rolling, 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 keep rolling, 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 keep rolling, 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 rolling.
Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. My last couple videos have been, you know, not really my style, but these are things I'm gonna have to put out. I'm gonna have to put out some filler content in between. It's not the most interesting thing, but I would just want to give you an update on my car and let you know what's going on with it. So in the comments daily, people ask, how is my tick? Do I still have the noise? No, I still do not have the noise. I've put about 1,200 miles on it since I replaced my oil with the Rotella 5W40, the T6 Rotella. And I just want to tell you, if you are not a boosted car, there's absolutely no reason for you to be putting this oil in your car, so I highly suggest do not use it. I get enough comments every day, people asking questions about it, DM me on Instagram, etc, etc, asking about the oil. Please, if you're not boosted, don't use the 5W40. It's not necessary. My engine generates more heat because of the boost and the supercharger, so that's the reason why I chose that oil. If anything changes, I will definitely give you an update because it's a pretty commonly asked question that I deal with every day. I wanted to give it some time since I did the oil change to see what actually happens. So far it's been about 1,200 miles. It has not came back yet. Not that I've noticed. Usually if I go through the bank drive-through, that's when I usually notice the most. I was in the bank drive-through the other day and I did not hear it. So far so good. I'm not saying this is a fix for everybody, but it just worked for what I just gave it a shot and it happened to work for me. So the guys that are dealing with this ticking issue, depending on if it's the rattle or the tick, whatever, listen, bring it to your dealership, get it documented, so God forbid something happens, you know, they documented it, this noise that you had previously, and then the dealership can take care of everything, but you most likely are under warranty unless, you know, you pass 60,000 miles, which I highly doubt, because it seems like the 18 has a lot more of a ticking sound or a ticking issue than the previous year Coyote motors. 18 seems to seem louder, and it has that kind of that rattle sound, and I heard it on a few different cars. So on that note, let's talk about my transmission. Obviously, the last time I went to the track, I think it was like 2 Fridays ago, when I got off the track after my last pass, that actually being my best pass of the day, the 1030 at 141 miles per hour pass. My transmission was acting funny when I went from park to drive, or drive to reverse, or reverse to drive. It sounded like when a U-joint goes bad on the drive shaft, it gives a bang when it transfers the power to the rear. That wasn't the case. Obviously from that video I put it up on the lift and the U-joint was fine, so the drive shaft seems pretty normal to me. The only other thing I could think of is I beat on the car pretty hard that day, so what I did was I reflashed the PCM because I do have a tune. I just uploaded the same exact tune that I was using that day, my regular, you know, daily driven tune. That's what I was using at the track, and it happened maybe once after that, I think the following day, and it hasn't happened since. So what I think it is after I go to the track, I'm more attentive to what's going on with the car. I listen to every noise, I pay attention to everything, I constantly read my gauges, and what happens is when I got off the return road from that pass, I missed the scale. I meant to jump on the scale, I wanted to weigh it, and I put it in reverse, and the idle might have been a little high, and it just, you know, did that banging noise. And then when I got home, I started really messing with it, going from park to drive, park to drive, park to drive. And yes, it was happening. Obviously seen in the video, I'll put a little clip here right now. And I really don't know what it is, so I reflashed the PCM. Everything seems fine. I have no transmission codes, I have no other issues, it shifts fine, it drives fine. I have not been to the drag strip since that happened. So this is pretty much just an update video. I'm giving you everybody an idea of what's been going on with the car. So I have the ticking issue that I addressed, my transmission issue that I addressed. I'm preparing for the October 20th call out. It's kind of important to me. I would like to really get out there and make a bigger name for myself. I really think the car is going to go 9s very soon. I feel like I'm right on the cusp. I know 1030 isn't 9s yet, but the mile per hour is there, and I got to start really knocking down the 60-foot times. My 60-foots are very inconsistent. You know, I pretty much average like a 1.7. I've had multiple 1.6 60-foot passes, but that's still not good enough. The stock suspension is very inconsistent. So I started collecting some suspension parts, and I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to try to get all these suspension parts on my car for a rental next Monday that I have. And hopefully I could get everything dialed in. I can mess around with everything, but it's a private rental. It's very small, only about 20 cars. And I could really, you know, sit at the tree and I could see what works and what doesn't work. I can make as many passes as I want. I have like 6 hours to do so. So I think it's very good to really get my car dialed in suspension-wise before I start doing anything else to the car, because I want to come October 20th pretty much how the car sits now. I will be pulling down to a 348 pulley, which I have already. I'll show you what it is. It's one size down from what I'm running right now. I'm running a 3.6 pulley. So this pulley should put me at like, I don't know, 14 to 15 pounds of boost. So I will have to get the car retuned. I mean, I'm gonna obviously log the car, and then I'll send it over to Rob at Palm Beach Dyno, and he will send me a new tune that works best for my setup. So I started to collect suspension parts, and I'm gonna start installing this stuff probably tomorrow. But first things first, I got vertical links. These are the cheapest vertical links you could get. They are made by Bmr. They're gonna do the job. I didn't need anything fancy. I didn't need to spend $220, $230 on vertical links. Yes, these tend to be a little noisier, which I'm not really concerned about noise. I know people could be real sticklers for NVH, which is like noise, vibration, and something else. I don't even know what the last word is, but if I find the definition, I'll put the link in the description below. So these are the new vertical links. They have grease fittings on them, so every now and then I will have to grease them to quiet them down a little bit. These are just poly. They're really light. They'll do the job, and it's perfect for what I need. I also got the lower control arm bushings. These are the premium lower control arm bushings. I believe the part number is BK055. These are also made by Bmr. These need to be pressed into the lower control arm, which I've never done before. I'm actually nervous. I don't think I'm gonna do it myself. I think I'm gonna have somebody else do it for me. The arm is aluminum, so it's kind of soft, so you got to be very careful putting these in. Any suggestions, please leave comments below if you've done these before, because I have no idea what I'm doing. For some reason these make me nervous, so I'm gonna have to get them done either way. They say these make a huge difference for wheel hop. There's a lot of less deflection when you have these installed, the less cradle deflection, everything else. So these are them, BK055. Hopefully get these installed soon. I'm also going to be running a Bmr drag spring. This is a SP088 spring. These are for the rears. Multiple cars that have been in the 8s and the 9s have used Bmr suspension parts, and these springs being one of those parts. So the reason why I went with all Bmr stuff is because they are very consistent. A lot of fast cars, that a lot of S550s that have been in the 8s, been in the 9s, even in dead bottom 10s, are all equipped with Bmr suspension. Yes, there's other companies out there. There's multiple companies out there that make suspension for the S550, but I chose Bmr because of their track record, and from all the time slips of people running really fast all have Bmr suspension. So I figured if it works for them, why wouldn't it work for me? I also purchased front springs. They have not arrived yet. The springs that I purchased were SP089. They're like minimal drop performance springs. Kelly Aiken from Bmr advised me to use those springs for the front, not to go with the SP087s, which come in the kit of 4 springs, considered drag springs. He said the SP087s are better for a naturally aspirated car. Since you're boosted, he suggested for me to use the SP089s. I also have Viking Crusaders, which Kelly was able to hook me up and had them overnighted to me, because I know they're a little backed up, Crusader, so they're not, the shipping isn't as fast, and literally no one had them in stock. I called every vendor pretty much on the Northeast to see if anybody had them in stock. No one had them in stock, so he has those getting overnighted to me. Tomorrow I went with the Crusader B258 AM shock. Those shocks are made for cars that are making 600 horsepower plus. So I will put the link in the description below for all those parts that I'm going to be using suspension wise. And I don't know what, you know, everybody obviously has different purposes for the car, but since I'm mainly into drag racing, these are the parts that I chose to use. I'm not really worried about that NVH. That noise doesn't bother me. I could care less about it. My exhaust, as you could tell from my last few videos, is obnoxious as it is, so I probably won't even hear it. So on that note, this is pretty much an update of what's going on in the car. Getting ready for the rental this upcoming Monday on Columbus Day. I'm getting ready for the October 20th call out, which is a big YouTube call out. I know there's going to be a lot of fast cars there. I'm pretty sure I heard that guy John Dock will be there. Street Speed, because he's hosting the event. Obviously Stang Mode. I'm not really sure if Demonology's coming yet. I thought he was coming, and then someone said he wasn't. I heard Xander's coming. I know there's a bunch of people going, so it's going to be really important to me to have my car go as fast as possible that day. And what's really cool, and I don't know if you guys follow drag racing at all, NHRA has just changed the rule. So if you have a car 08 and up, any late model Mustangs for instance, and you do not have a roll cage, you are good to go to 10.0 even with a power adder, as long as your mile per hour is below 135 or 100. I think it's 134.99. Anything over 135, they want a cage in your car, which is completely understandable for safety reasons. But that rule really just helped me out because I wasn't able to run a few events because my car obviously is, you know, on the cusp of going 9, so anything can happen, and my mile per hour tends to be pretty high, especially in good weather. So that's a great rule. So guys, if you want to look it up yourself, I'll put the link in the description below for NHRA changing that rule over. I think it's great because these new cars have a lot of great safety features, and it's not fair that, like, you know, I put a blower on my car and I wasn't able to really go technically past 1150 because of NHRA rules, but they just changed that, so that's awesome. That's an awesome thing. That pretty much sums up the video. Any questions or anything, you know, hit me in the comments, hit me on Facebook, or hit me on Instagram. Just DM me. I'm more than welcome to help. I don't mind asking questions sometimes. Some people ask the same question multiple times, but it is what it is. I try to help out as many people as I can. I don't know everything. Just going by what has been working for me, and I really appreciate you guys watching. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed yet, and peace out. Hopefully I'll see you on October 20th call out at Maple Grove. I'll put the link in the description below when I get more information. Peace.